I had to change track because I didn't feel like I was in the right path.
This episode is brought to you by...
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chat with Mick. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I'm here in Glendale. I'm in the house of the legendary musician Winston Raval.
Hello, Mick.
Hello po.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I have with me a veteran musician who is an award-winning jazz musician. He's also a film scorer and songwriter. We call him Manong Winston here in LA. How did you get started with music?
Well, I started playing the piano when I was 4 years old. I was just tinkering. I didn't have the knowledge yet, the musical knowledge yet at that time, but I was already tinkling or improvising on the piano. And my parents said that I have the inclination, I have the talent, and that started all of it. That's who I am now.
You say that's because of genetics?
Yes, of course. I got this from my grandparents, I guess, because my grandfather was a violin player and my mother was a pianist, singer too, a soprano, and they used to play together as a duo when I was growing up.
Where was this?
In Lawag, Ilocos Norte.
What was it like in Ilocos Norte? Would you say that the environment there is conducive for artists and musicians? Were there a lot of musicians in your neighborhood?
Well, in those days, it was in the 50s, and the city was not as noisy or as chaotic as now, but it was silent and conducive to music, especially. And I remember that almost every house had a piano, and you could hear piano playing every day. And I think Lawag is an artistic city. Music is prevalent, and so was the other arts like painting. They were prevalent in the city. The people were artistic.
Mm-hmm. How did you end up in Manila? And from Lawag, how did you end up going to Manila?
When I finished high school, I went to Manila to study. And the first university or college I went to was the University of the Philippines. I enrolled in the College of Music.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I picked up friends, fellow musicians, and we started playing together and went to gigs. So we started to play in the clubs, and things developed, and I ended up writing music for movies.
When you decided to go to UP, did you have the intention that you wanted to be a musician professionally? Did you want to be a musician all your life?
Yes. That was my intention, and that was my feeling. That was preordained to me, that I was a musician. Actually, my mind was not decided, was undecided at that time, and I told myself I needed a degree, a college degree. So after enrolling in the College of Music in UP, after a year or two, I quit and I studied in San Beda. I had in mind being a lawyer would be good for me because my father was a lawyer. But after finishing Bachelor of Arts, I stopped because I felt that music was my destiny. And even my father said, when I told him that I'm quitting college, I'm not pursuing law, he said, I told you, you're a musician, you're not a lawyer, you're not a politician. So, yeah, and that's my fate.
It seemed like you were predestined to be a musician, having grown up in a family full of musicians. Going back to when you were a child, what was it like growing up with everyone in your family playing an instrument and singing and performing? What was that like?
Our house was a house of music. There was music every day. And I remember every weekend, musicians come over to the house to jam. Violinists, guitar players, bass players, drummers. Because my mother was a singer and so was my father. So they were a duet. They were a duo. When we have when their friends come over, they would be entertaining the visitors while I would be playing outside with my friends. They would be calling me to play the piano. So that was the environment I grew up with.
Did you try other instruments?
Yes, I played cello, violin, guitar.
What is it about the piano that made you stick with the instrument?
Actually, there's a saying that the instrument picks you. You are picked by the instrument, not you choosing to play that instrument. No, because I went through the violin, the cello, the guitar, but I couldn't play those instruments as much better as the piano. On the piano, I'm comfortable and I can, my mind is with the piano. I don't know how to explain it. So it's the instrument that picks you, that chooses you. It says, you're mine.
Did your piano say, you're mine?
Yeah.
I have your soul, Winston Raval.
Yeah, I got you.
When you were younger, did you have to take music theory?
Yeah, of course. I had a piano teacher, and then I went on to study. First I studied. I was self-study, reading music theory, books. But it was developed. It was made strong when I enrolled in the College of Music. There, I truly was in the middle of musical education.
What is it like growing up and learning about music and going through musical classes, music theory classes, and of course the piano performance classes? What was going on in your head? A lot of people, like me for example, I took piano lessons, I took guitar lessons when I was young, but I'm not exactly musically inclined. I appreciate different kinds of music, but I can't seem to figure it out, just not in me. What is it like growing up, going through all these music classes? What was it about those music classes that made you say, oh, I really want to be a musician. I really want to further my studies in, of all things, music theory? Because not a lot of people have that inclination. Music theory for me is hard.
Yes, it's. I think you're born with it. It's like, let's say, this person can sing, but he gets railroaded. His tempo is erratic. You know, it's not consistent, and with that, this person would say, why can't I maintain the tempo? Because you're born with it. You know, you can't learn being in the tempo, because you're born with it. Either you have it or not.
You're saying, some people get railroaded, and in some ways you got railroaded when you were in college, right?
Yeah, railroaded in the sense that it was not already musical, but my life, my future. I had to change track because I didn't feel like I was in the right path.
What was that questioning? Was it like at the back of your head you were still thinking like, oh, I should be this because my father was a lawyer? Was it that, or was it something else?
Well, usually when you're young, you're in doubt, You don't know what to do, where to go. And of course, it's a trial and error thing. And you feel, and you feel it when that is really what you want.
What did you do as you were trying to figure out what you really wanted to do? You thought music called you in the beginning, and then you fell off the tracks and you went on a different track. You're taking, is it political science?
Yeah, political science. Because people would say, you want to be a musician? Oh, you won't have money. You don't have money. And so I was in doubt. Oh, am I really in the right track? Am I doing the right thing? So I tried to divert, go to another path. But it didn't work. It was not natural to me. Like it's something that is enforced. You're forced to do this. You don't feel right, so I gotta go the other way.
How long did it take you to finish college? How long was that process?
Oh, that was long. With music, it was on and off. But when I decided to take law, I wasted 4 years of my life. Studying political science.
Did you graduate with a political science degree?
Yeah,
you
I
did.
Yeah. And after graduation, my father sent me to Hong Kong like a gift. And when I was there, I went to the clubs, I heard music, I heard jazz. And I said, oh, that's the one I like. So when I went back to Manila, I was already determined to continue with music.
After 4 years of political science, did you do some soul searching when you were in Hong Kong?
Yes, of course. I was enlightened to know that being in music is a different world. I enjoy it. I have pleasure in doing it.
Mm-hmm. Were you afraid? Were you afraid that you may not be able to make the same amount of money as a lawyer? Granted, people were telling you, why are you going to be a musician? It's better to be something else.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, the choice is yours. I felt that, money is not the issue. It's what you really want and like in life,
Mm-hmm.
what you really want to do.
When you went back to the Philippines from your trip to Hong Kong, what happened?
I played again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard for me to get a job as a musician because people know me well. In the Philippines, they know me. So
How old were you back then when you were trying to go back into
to
music after 4 years of being in political science?
I think I was already in my 20s because I was 16 years old when I was in college. I enrolled in college.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first I studied music at UP, so that was 1 year and a half. And then when I quit, I went to political science and that was 4 years of not playing music, not even touching the piano.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Did you feel like something was missing, something was wrong?
of course, I always felt that all the time, but I had to finish the course to maybe satisfy myself. But when I finished it, I realized I'm in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm. You say you wasted 4 years, or were there some
Yes.
kind of...
Yeah, I wasted 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And never again did I stop. Continues until now.
You were taking music in college finally. Were you already playing in bands and
Oh,
in
yes,
bars
yes,
and
yes.
restaurants?
Yeah, I was playing almost every night.
Wow. What was the scene like in Manila back then? During the 60s, right?
Yeah, late 60s until early 80s, 81, 82.
What got you into jazz? 'Cause during the 60s, you have British invasion
Yeah.
took over the entire world with the Beatles,
Yeah.
Rolling Stones, all kinds of bands. But you chose a different kind of music. You were led to liking jazz. Who were your inspirations?
Well, I grew up listening to jazz, like listening to Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and then I found out, I discovered the really jazz musicians, those innovators like Thelonious Monk, Charlie Parker, Duke Ellington.
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing that and their music was in my mind all the time.
What's your favorite Duke Ellington composition?
Oh, I like all of his compositions, but I usually play Prelude to a Kiss. Do you know that? You want me to play it?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just a few bars. Just a portion of the song. It's called Prelude to a Kiss.
What is it about jazz? What is it about that musical style that you liked? As opposed to pop or
Yeah.
disco?
I really cannot explain, but it's natural to me. I like it. And I also like classical music. I play classical music too. But in jazz, while you are playing, you are composing. As opposed to classical music, you have to memorize the piece. So there's no freedom in classical music. In jazz, you're free. You can do anything.
So is it that improvisation?
Yeah, that's what they call it, improvisation. But then the great classical composers, Chopin, Bach, Mozart, they were also improvising, you know. The music that was written came from improvisations of Bach or Chopin. But their improvisation was written down and it became permanent. While in jazz, the improvisation changes. The way you play now, when you interpret a piece, it will be different when you play it next. The texture is different. So you don't play it the same.
So would you say it has to do with the freedom of expression?
Yes, and knowledge of theory. When you have a knowledge, when you have theory in your head, you're applying it when you're improvising. Because without theory, you cannot improvise.
When you were in college, it was the British invasion. During that time, there were a lot of bands, like what you used to call combos, right?
Yeah.
Were people telling you to join their combo?
Yeah, I played Beatles, I forgot the names of the groups. And I also played rock. I played Led Zeppelin, if you're familiar with that group. Yes, and the other rock groups that group was already in the 70s. Yeah. The Beatles came out in the 60s. And then the music of the Beatles was not yet called rock. It was pop. And when the 70s came in or arrived, it became rock because of the extensive use of the guitar.
There's a lot of rock music and disco and synthesizers happening.
Yeah.
Right. What were you doing back then? Were you sort of like the diamond in the rough And you kind of like stood out from everyone else who was doing rock and disco?
I did all those.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I played rock, I played disco.
But your favorite was jazz.
Yeah, because jazz is lasting, you know, it will never die.
Mm-hmm.
While rock, the pop, what do you call pop music? It changes, you know. What was rock in the 70s became rap, disco. But jazz still remains jazz until now. Doesn't change.
During the 70s, we were playing different gigs in bars and restaurants. And during the 70s, OPM came about. Original Filipino music started in the 70s.
Yeah.
What was the scene like in the Philippines, in Manila, during the 70s? Because there's a lot of original compositions that came out during the 70s because of the movement called Original Filipino
OPM,
music.
yes. Yeah, I listen to OPM too. It has its how do you call it? Good points.
Would you say that there was a lot of regeneration, like some new energy, because there was a new sense of belonging, new sense of saying that this is ours, this is Filipino music, and we're going to create it for us, and we're going to create this new thing.
Yes.
You were in the Philippines back then, right?
Yeah.
What was the scene like? Were your friends and colleagues excited? Was there any apprehension about the movement?
It was a development of and the creation of Filipino music.
Mm-hmm. Were there more musicians, more gigs, more shows back then? Because of that new movement called OPM?
Well, in the entertainment field, there are different styles. Like OPM is one style, jazz is one style, rock is one style.
In the jazz world, what was it like in the 70s in Manila? As a musician, who were you trying to play more of or like emulate among the popular musicians?
In the 70s, I played rock with Edmond Fortuno, Anak Bayan. I also played jazz. And at the same time, I was recording for films, recording the music for films. So I was quite busy in the 70s.
How did you get into recording music for film? How did you get into film scoring?
I was introduced by TC to the great film director Ismael Bernal. And we became friends and we were like family. In fact, we were living together in the same house. We rented the house and all of us friends, Ismael Bernal and our friends, we were living in a commune, you know. A lot of people living in one house. We were living in a big house, in a huge house. And so, of course, I was with Ismael Bernal, and all the celebrities would come over and visit us almost every day. And so there was like a party going on every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we were talking about everybody who was involved in the movie industry. So I got my share from there. There I landed my
How did you
film
meet
music.
Ishmael Bernal? How did that connection happen?
Well, he liked my music, the way I compose. He liked my
Mhm.
compositions, and so, well, it's automatic. I started composing music for his movies, for his films. It was just
Mhm.
natural because we were living in the same place.
What is it about writing music for films? What makes it different from writing your own compositions?
Oh, there's no difference because writing for music and writing on my own for myself, they're the same, except that, of course, when you write music for films, you have to adapt to the order or to the system of composing music for a movie, because it's technical.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a story and particular segments of the story, and where you are to compose music for a segment,
Mm-hmm.
and fill that up, and there are different segments in a movie, and so you're composing segment by segment.
Mm-hmm.
First the title music, and then what they call incidentals, atmospheric music. You are given a task of filling up all the segments.
Mm-hmm.
It's technical.
Mm-hmm. Being a musician, you're always around a lot of people. You work with a lot of musicians, whether it's you're performing for an event, whether you're performing for inside a restaurant or a bar, whether you're recording music and writing music for a film. How do you deal with all these different people?
I don't know. I don't know how I did it, but you have to be a social animal if you're in that world. You have to deal with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you deal with different quirks? Like everyone's different. Some people are nicer than others. How do you please people, especially when you have clients?
Yeah. Well, you have to be calm. You have to be focused. You have to be. You should be able to relate to everybody. So it's some kind of, your mind should be free, and susceptible to ideas, to what other people are talking about.
When you were in the Philippines, you had a lot of gigs. You were working on film scoring with directors, and people knew who you were. And then you moved to the States. You moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Why? Why did you move to LA?
Maybe I wanted to see greener pastures, and to see, the America that everybody is talking about, what did they call America? The land of opportunity.
Were there opportunities when you got here?
Not really.
No? Did you miss life in the Philippines in an instant?
Yeah, of course. But now that I have gone through all these stages in life, there is no, to me, I accept what has happened and what is happening now. They're all the same. You're not only living for money, you know. Money is not really that important because money is not permanent. What is permanent is the memory that you have gone through, the experiences that you have gone through. Those are the things that you carry in life.
What were you doing when you first moved to the States? How long ago was that?
I came here in 1987. And well, maybe it's by divine intervention, you know. It was and will never be difficult for me to land into a job as musician. When I arrived here, I had a gig right away.
What was that gig?
The first one was I was introduced to this Black Americans. What they call them? Yeah, Black Americans, Black community. I was what they call that. I was moved to new kind of friends. Like they were mostly living in South LA. You know, and that then in 1987, it was the center of jazz here in LA.
In South Central.
South Central, yeah. So I met a lot of friends there, and I played in a lot of clubs in that place.
What is the difference? Like, is there anything different from playing a gig in the Philippines versus playing a gig in LA? How different is it?
Oh, they're all the same. Musicians are musicians. Yeah. There's no difference. The only difference is how good the musician is.
Based on your experience performing in the Philippines versus performing here in LA, what's the difference between the musicians in the Philippines versus musicians here in LA?
Yeah, they're all the same. They're good musicians, better musicians, best musicians. There's a category.
What would you say is the best musician? What makes a best musician?
Well, those who have studied, yeah, they're better than those who have not, because it's like going to war. You gotta have a lot of ammunition to survive. Yeah, and for musicians, your ammunition is your knowledge. That's the one thing that will come out from you, your knowledge.
Did you have any kind of regret moving here to the States?
The what?
Regret? Did you have any regrets?
Regrets?
Yeah, moving here
Oh,
to
no.
the States?
Oh no. I would say I the life I went through from my childhood to now was a journey. You know, life is a continuous thing. You know, you go from one place to another. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot control it. You know, it moves you. There's a flow, and you're following this flow. It's leading you. You know, actually, you're not doing it. You're not moving by yourself. There's a force that is pushing you to wherever your destiny is leading you. You know.
He called you to be a musician, and you've been honored several times. Like, we're seeing a couple of trophies here. The first one is from Phil Jazz USA
Yeah.
in 2013, and manunuri ng Pelikulang Pilipino Award. That's a Gawad Urian Lifetime Achievement Award that you received in 2018.
Mm.
What does it feel like?
Oh yeah, of course. Your morale is boosted. You feel you have more confidence
Mm-hmm.
that people are admiring your work. Of course, I'm happy.
Does it make you feel like you ought to do more? Because
Of course. Yeah, you gotta keep on learning, practicing. Like the daily routine for me is practice and writing.
Mhm.
That's consistent every day. It's something that I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
Writing music, how do you get inspired? Like, how do you get the creative juices flowing?
Oh yeah, it's unpredictable. Sometimes you don't feel like anything.
Mhm.
It the creativity in you just comes out at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So but what I consistently do really is my everyday routine,
Mm-hmm.
practicing and studying, listening to other people's music.
You say that it enhances what you know, like writing, practicing, listening to other people's music. It enhances what you know. Does that help you with your writing?
Not only writing, it helps me being myself, being a true musician.
Mm-hmm.
And by being a true musician, being true to your art, you are also being true to yourself, to your life, they walk hand in hand. Your artistry and your daily life, they're together.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about Tita Tisti, your wife. Like, how does she support you in your everyday existence as a musician?
Oh yes, she supports me in our daily existence, subsistence, of course. But also, she guides me and gives me support, moral and spiritual support also.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that makes me a better person.
Mm-hmm. Who are your favorite musicians?
Living or
Living or passed away?
passed away. I think among all the great musicians who have passed away and still living, well, for the passed away, I would say Duke Ellington is my idol. And I forgot, it doesn't come to my name. A bass player. But anyway, foremost is Duke Ellington. To me, he's the greatest composer, arranger of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And to the living, still living, I would say Chick Corea,
Mm-hmm.
Herbie Hancock. Among all of them.
Mm-hmm. If people were to remember you based on what you think and what you feel, who is Winston Raval?
I don't know. Well, he is the humorous Ilocano.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just a fun-loving individual. I don't consider myself the greatest. I'm just doing what I want in life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Winston Raval, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manong Winston.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. And we'll see you in the next episode of Chat with Mick.
Don't miss out. Want to be seen? Want to be heard? Want lots of exposure? Ask us how.